Hey, what's going on, everybody? How you doing? I'm excited. This is a new season of Gonna See My Friends podcast where we kind of take all our favorite movies and talk about them for quite a bit. And as always, I have my good friend Toby. What's up,
Hi,
Toby? How you
Steven.
doing?
Yeah, it's so good to be back.
Yeah, it's great. We're gonna have a good season this season. We have a lot of good movies up on the what do you call it? The I don't know, the
Yeah, on
queue.
the cork board.
Yeah, there you go.
They're
Corkboard.
written on the bathroom walls.
Yeah, this is going to be great. I'm excited. We kind of burnt out on the last season. I think both of us are kind of ready for the break. We had a good summer.
Yes.
Toby, how was your summer? Give us, you said,
Well, the summer really feels like it kind of hasn't happened yet.
yeah,
I mean, this is the first hot day. Sorry, we're going to talk about the weather real quick, but it hasn't. Excuse me. Here in Northern California, we haven't had that hot heat that we're used to, and
no,
today is day one of that, and it's middle of August. So
yeah,
other than that, it's just been a crazy work schedule for me this summer. So the break came at a good time, and I am ready to get back into it because man, I missed you. I missed doing this pod.
yeah,
Missed talking about movies.
yeah,
So I'm ready to have fun, man. We've earned it, and
yeah,
welcome back to season 3.
bam.
Yes,
Yeah, we started this last September, mid September,
yeah, almost a
and
year
so
ago.
it's coming up on 1 year of doing
Yeah,
this, and
yeah,
getting better and better as we go, and hopefully we still, we retain and even got some new followers on our channel.
yeah.
Yeah, this is fun, great.
Thanks for listening,
Yeah,
everybody.
man. Make sure you listen to us on wherever you listen to podcasts. We're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're on even Pandora. All the other podcast channels were available. And yeah, like as Toby said, thank you for listening. And this week we're gonna jump into our first movie is Rogue One,
Hmm.
for all you Star Wars fans out there. I know there's a lot of you out there. Um, this was a interesting pick by Tobe,
Yes, sir.
and we've kind of wanted to do this for a long time. Toby, take it away. Like, what's your relationship to this movie?
Well, okay, that's a great question.
Yeah,
Excuse me. Um, Saw it in the theater. Was a little, we had kind of always heard that there might have been some standalone movies. There were rumors. There
yeah,
was a disturbance in the force that we were going to maybe see some of the stories that we hadn't seen before. And this movie being the first of those installments, Rogue One,
yeah,
a Star Wars story, is the story of what happens. How did the rebels get the plans for the Death Star that we see them being chased about in the very first opening shot, 1977? There's a chase scene in space. What led up to that? Who were those people that did that? And what Gareth Edwards did in having to work inside a box, if you will, of I got to tell this right. I have to please Star Wars people and I have to please just moviegoers.
hmm
I was blown away. And this is, and maybe a controversial take, this is my favorite Star Wars movie. It's so good.
interesting. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
so good. As soon as it's over, I want to turn right around and watch it again. This is the movie that we bring camping with us every time we go camping. I'll put it on late at night. It's just one of those things where you can just put on and 2 hours and 13 minutes. It feels like an hour and a half.
yeah, yeah.
So well
It's a
paced.
quick, yeah,
It's so quick. And there's just stuff going on. One of the thoughts when I was watching this again last night was this is a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. But these people don't get any days off. I mean, people are always at work in this
yeah,
galaxy.
yeah,
And it's exciting to see that. It's hard to write.
yeah,
And yeah, saw it in the theater with some friends and introducing kids to this. And I think we
yeah.
had a who had never seen a Star Wars movie in the theater before, and this was their first one. I can't say enough good things about it. I adore this movie, and it spawned a great television show on Disney,
Yeah,
Andor, where we get to even go back even further,
right.
and just the creativity that it takes for something like to do a project like this and it actually working,
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you because as you know how Star Wars fans are about their Star Wars content, they're very what was it? Fickle? Is that the word?
Fickle's a good way to
Yeah.
describe it.
They're very particular about how, what their content presents because they want that lore, but it has to tie in with, canon or as John Favreau does, he kind of invents new stuff and then fits it into the canon. So, I mean, I think this was important because it kind of signified this kind of detour from normal like Star Wars things,
Hmm.
like the Force and all this, Luke Skywalker, Jedi's, and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
And it kind of presented this thing of the I don't know the workings of a rebellion, and how it's created and why it's created. Uh, as we go back, like you said, in Andor, which is a great
It might
series.
even be better. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I mean, I think, like, to you, what do you think is the thing that kind of jumped out at you when you were watching this for the first time? Do you have any memories of that?
I do. Well, first of all, in all 9 Star Wars movies, John Williams is the composer.
Hmm.
The score is a huge deal in
Yeah.
this galaxy far, far away. And the composer for this movie, and I just had his name up on the screen, and I looked up what else he's done. He did all the Spider-Man. There's Thor movies in there that he
Oh,
did
wow.
the composing for.
Yeah.
He did the Planet of the Apes series, War of the Planet of the Apes, Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, Apes of the Planet of the Apes. You name it. Something of the.
Michael Giacchino?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Um, he he was able to have his own spin on, which is a huge, the score is a character in and of itself in the Star Wars movie. I mean, this is John
Yeah.
Williams you're talking
Yeah.
about, and
Yeah.
John Williams, it's John Williams when you watch any of any of the Indiana Jones movies and
Yeah.
Jaws, and the list goes on and on and on. And um, what this composer did was not so much borrow from it, but gave an homage to him at certain times. And I think I mean, you hear the Leia's theme with the French horn at one
Yeah.
point,
Yeah.
and you hear the Imperial March at one point, but you just get a taste of it. And
Right.
little things like that, I was like, I got goosebumps in the theater. I was just
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
what's happening? Because
Well,
I mean, because it's a story not of the wizards fighting each other. This is the common man just standing up against fascism
yeah.
and authoritarianism. And this is the last. I mean, we talked about existential threats. This is apocalyptic. What's about to happen in this movie? If they don't stop this thing, I mean, it's over.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think to add to that point, I mean, the score is great, and it, like you said, it had hints of this, especially when the characters are shown. It has hints of these little like motifs from the original score. John Williams, yeah, he's amazing. So to kind of follow him and create your own score, that's pretty amazing. I think he only had like a month or so to do the
No,
score.
are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
yeah. After like the original composer was fired or let go or something, he only had like about a month or so to kind of do it. So it's great to even have what we have on that film, man. It shows you the talent that this dude has, but also to build on your point, like I think this movie really kind of captured that, like I said before, captured the essence of kind of why this rebellion is formed. Uh, and like you were saying, also like the Jedi's and the Force and the Darth Vaders and the Han Solos, like you get to see. I think the original trilogy was kind of like the rebellion's there. Here's this rebellion. Here's the bad guys. Here are the good guys. And then having these adventures. This is kind of showing you how that is built. And so that really original trilogy is kind of built on this whole movie. And again, going back to Andor, it shows you kind of the bones of how this was started
Mhm.
by kind of just like any rebellion, kind of the people on the ground, kind of people, ordinary people that have taken a stand and infiltrated the bad guys and all of that kind of stuff, and risking their lives and risking without any kind of like it's your destiny or
Mhm.
kind of that. So it was just great to watch and not have that baggage, but also kind of or introduce new stuff like
Mhm.
like we're gonna attack this and we're gonna do this and all. Just so that was fun. I thought that was great watching that. Um, let's see. How do you think it contrasts between? I guess we already kind of talked about that. I'm looking at my notes right here, so
Yeah, no, I can answer that. It contrasts in that in the original trilogy and in the whole, really, it's all 9 movies.
yeah,
It's a family that's fighting in and of itself, right? All through the
yeah,
whole. This is not these are all people who have the only reason why they're there is because they have one goal in mind. Is to stop this terror from taking over the galaxy. And well, I mean, it is got a little bit of a family because Jin and her. So Jin, it's the story of Jin Erso, who is one of the don't get a lot of female leads in the Star Wars galaxy, and we do get Felicity Jones plays Jin.
yeah,
So my first thought was Felicity Jones as the star of the new Star Wars movie, and I'm like, how is that? She is incredible as Jyn Erso in this. I love her. This is my favorite role of hers.
yeah,
Like, her father being played by Mads Mikkelsen as Galen Erso. I mean, this cast is incredible.
yeah. Krennic,
You have Ben Mendelsohn
yeah,
as director Krennic.
yeah,
Incredible. He's having both the best work day and the worst work day, right? His thing works, not
yeah,
to jump ahead, but
right,
his thing works, but then he's got to go clean up the mess that he's also left behind. This poor guy is just running from one side of he's chasing these guys around and he's trying to solve a crime. He's
yeah,
trying to solve, who, I mean, both storylines there where you're watching how these people that are about to become, this is all we need. Once
yeah,
we have this super weapon online, we won't need the Senate anymore. We won't need anybody who helped us build this thing anymore. I mean, you get glimpses of that, and this is how authoritarianism works. And when this came out in 2016, it was kind of like, wow, yeah, it's really cool to see. And they will re-release this next year because it's coming up on the 10-year anniversary.
oh
It's gonna
shit,
feel pretty
wow,
close to home with
yeah,
all the things that are going on in the world, and I think it's more poignant today than it was in 2016. I'm watching
yeah.
this thing going, God damn. I mean, is this how this happens? Like, is this really how far will these people go?
Well, I was watching Andor and thinking that same thing, and it's
Oh,
really
yes.
yeah, it's really interesting to watch how Tony Gilroy, the writer and yeah, the writer of well, he was kind of I don't know if he's listed, but he was definitely a fixer on this movie, writing fixing the script because there happened to be a lot of reshoots on this movie, which I remember even at the time there was stuff in the trailer that was not even in the movie, different shots of different scenes, and it kind of made me think, oh, is this? And it was it was kind of what advertised as kind of a troubleshoot, but I
It
mean
was. I remember reading
yeah,
about that. You're right.
yeah,
They got to the end and then they went back and almost reshot like 70% of the movie.
yeah, and so I mean to watch him write this and Andor in the season 2 of Andor, you're right, man. I mean, there was a lot of stuff in there that was like, is he taking this from the headlines of like right now? And they had written this what like 2 years ago, something like that. I can't remember, but not this movie, but Andor. And
Right.
and so I mean, there's a process of almost like reverse engineering, like taking this movie and going, all right, how do we kind of how did we get here? And so he has to go back, and I mean, he's just a great writer. He did Michael Clayton, which he also directed, and that movie I think we're going to cover on this pod
We
eventually.
should, because you love that movie so
Oh, I
much.
love it!
You
I
bring it
love
up.
it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the nuance in the writing. It isn't like the kind of bash you over the head with what the character needs or wants or
Mhm.
anything like that. It's just all in the subtext. And he's just a great writer. I mean, that's just Michael Clayton is just a great movie for that. But he's able to kind of craft these characters and kind of show you what they want, and not even just show you, but like build, build a whole world and their wants and their needs and why they do. I mean, he's just a master writer, I think, anyways. But getting back to this movie, Rogue One, yeah, you're right. I mean, I think there's a lot to tie into what's happening today in this political climate of today. Whatever what side, it doesn't matter what side you're on, you can kind of see what's going down, and this movie kind of, I think it generalizes every rebellion, because I think he was saying that he read a lot of history books and he read a lot of about rebellions and all that kind of thing, all that kind of stuff. So, anyways, I mean, it's great. How do you
Like
think?
the
Oh, go
spy
ahead.
versus spy side of the rebellion,
Yeah,
because there's spies everywhere.
yeah,
You've got the rebellion; they've got their feeler. I mean, word travels fast around this galaxy. I mean, once you leave, I mean, and if you're an astrophysicist and you're like, so when you jump from light speed to and you fly from this place to the other part in the galaxy, is that like they're talking about this happened yesterday, and it's like it's got to take more than a day to get from this point in space interstellar travel from that system all the way over to this system. Forget about all that.
yeah,
You don't
yeah.
even really consider. Just assume that this is how they get around, right?
Right, right,
Suspend the disbelief on that. How the word travels fast because the Empire's got their spies all over the place. You don't know who you can trust, and
right,
Andor really, if this rebellion will work as long as our spy network is solid. And once one thing goes down, if you realize that one is burned, that person's gone. They must
right.
be eliminated
Yeah,
off the board. This is no
yeah,
longer a piece on the chessboard.
right.
And you see that right from the jump in this, where we meet who will be the hero in his own story, Cassian Andor. We first meet him, and what does he do? He shoots a guy in the back.
Yeah.
He murders somebody right there in front of us,
Well,
and you're
he's
like,
cornered. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
he has no choice.
Right.
This guy can't get. He just says, "My arm is hurt and I can't climb out of here." And he's like, "Okay, calm down, calm down." Boom.
Yeah.
This is when we first meet Han Solo in A New Hope.
Yeah.
Han Solo kills Greedo,
Right.
and
Right.
he shoots first. Star Wars goes back later and changes that to have him Greedo shoot first, and then
Yeah.
because they were like, we can't have him murder somebody in the first opening scene. Well, maybe you can. This is a rebellion. This is a war. We are at war, and these things that the lines get a little blurry. Can you still be a hero when you just shot this guy in the back, and at the end you're like you are openly weeping when
Yeah.
at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
It's wild. It asks a lot of its audience,
Yeah. Bingo.
and I
Yeah.
love that. I love not being dumbed down to.
Yeah.
Like when
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
changed it to Greedo shot first, I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, what? I
Well, I
saw it
mean,
with my own eyes.
yeah.
What do you mean no?
Well, I think you bring up a good point, because I think Christ. So on my other podcast, I have this thing called Old Man Brain, which I just had. We could edit this out, but
That's
I'm
all
trying to.
right. Yeah, cut that.
Yeah. What
We'll
was
be
it?
right
You
back.
said Greedo shot first.
Yes, Han shot
Oh yeah,
first.
this is what I was gonna say. So it kind of shows you the stakes of the very high stakes in this kind of political thriller. Basically is what this movie is, and it shows you that with the lengths that people will go to. It's either him or me, and so that's all I can give you, I guess. My old
He
man brain is
can't. He
kicking.
can't get caught.
Yeah,
This is, and if you read, like, go back. I mean, it's something is Cormac McCarthy's The Road. He's got 2 bullets left in the gun because we're not going to get caught. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
if this is you can't get caught. The whole thing will come down if you are. I mean, once you're into this level in the spy network with the rebellion, the Rebel Alliance, Cassian knows that he needs to go and confirm what they've heard. This is how spies do it, right? You learn
yeah,
about this, and they really explore it in Andor. And they're like, you can't just take one person's word for it. You have to confirm it from a different source. And if you hear the same story from 2 completely different sources, then they consider that a confirmed. Okay, Now we've got a big problem. They're
Yeah.
building a weapon. Well,
Yeah.
what kind of weapon? What are they doing?
Yeah.
And they won't act until they have that confirmed. And you have all the leaders in the Rebel Alliance, people who names that we'd heard. See Genevieve play the role of Mon Mothma,
Oh, Mon
Senator Mon
Mothma.
Mothma.
Yeah.
She plays a huge role in Andor because we wanted to know more about. She's a character that's been through the entire trilogy. She was,
Yeah.
and Genevieve played Mon Mothma originally in
Episode
episode 3,
3. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they cut those scenes. And I've gone back and watched those cut scenes, and I'm like, why did we cut these scenes?
Yeah.
This is important stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yes.
go ahead. Well, no, I was just going to say my next question, because I think
Yeah.
when you're watching this movie, I think before you watched Andor, right, you kind of get a sense. There's a few scenes in this movie where when I first watching, I'm like, man, Cassian's he's sneaky. I don't know if you can trust this guy. And I'm always kind of siding with Jin. After watching Andor, that kind of changed. Did that change for you as well?
It did.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
That's right, because you're pulling for Jin.
Yeah.
The first shot we see her is a little, what, 6-year-old, maybe 5, 6 years
Yeah.
old. She's got a little doll stormtrooper, so she's really young. And let's just talk about that opening shot. Can we just get into it? And just the choices that the director's choices that he made. And there's a little bit of callbacks. You get the first opening shot that we see in Star Wars: A New Hope is ships being chased, and there's a big Star Destroyer, and you see this big wedge.
Yeah.
This shot opens with a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Then you don't get the crawl. You don't get a big explanation.
Yeah.
And then you see a big wedge, and it's the rings of a planet that have a shadow falling on it that look like the front of a Star Destroyer. So as a Star Wars fan, I'm like, we're off and running, aren't we, here? And you see it's a shuttle, a little tiny shuttle flying. He comes and lands in Iceland.
Yeah.
And we see
he was on a getaway. Yeah.
he's coming to get Galen Erso, who is now. And George Lucas always thought this story was about samurais, but in space, right? It was like a Western, but they're also samurais. That's kind of what I picture Jedi as. Well, nobody looked more like a samurai than Galen Erso did when he comes out to meet Krennic and his death troopers as they come up to come collect him. I was like, I just paused it. I'm all, this is a samurai. Yeah. He's got the ponytail and the robes and I'm like, this can't be done on accident. This is for George right here.
Right. Well, I think that's an excellent point. I always felt like Gareth Edwards was more of what Star Wars needed, as opposed to, and there's fans of The Last Jedi and in this new trilogy that even like Ryan, I think this is what Rian Johnson wanted to do, and he failed miserably, I think.
Yeah,
because I always feel like those last two, The Force Awakens is, I liked it at the time. Looking back, I could just see it was a retread of the original. But it still has its good points, and I loved it. It was the trailers just kind of was just a big part of like, oh my god, a new Star Wars. But I think in this movie, he always kind of he treaded that line about like he wanted fan service, but also writing a compelling story about the rebellion, and he does that great. And like you said, he gives you these little Easter eggs that are kind of for the audience, and we'll get to one of the last shots of the movie when we get there, but he's really good at that of kind of satisfying the fan hunger for stuff, but also giving you a great movie, not just literally like writing, but also visually. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, not at all. He does give the kid Star Wars lover in me. He gave me he didn't throw things in there just to throw them in there. We better have a Wookiee walk by right now and go or something. No, we only see one lightsaber in the whole thing, and that the idea that you get to the only remnants of Jedi Sith that you see in this is you do get the scenes with Darth Vader, which I was not expecting
Yeah,
actually.
me and I.
And they pay off so well because we get to see Darth Vader's house.
Yeah.
We're like,
Where's his
what is
shitter? Where's the kitchen?
what on God's flat earth is this place that he's
Yeah.
living in? And you do that, you're like, why is he living on this lava planet with in a
Mustafar.
building that looks like a tuning fork? This is where, going way deep,
No,
this is
I
where he
love it.
was injured. So he
Yeah.
built his temple on top of the place where he was so badly maimed by Obi-Wan in episode 3. He went ahead and just made it his fortress.
Right.
And it does look like a tuning fork because he is trying to harness
Yeah.
all the negative energy that he can.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we first see him and he's in a bacta tank. He's
Yeah.
trying
Yeah.
to heal.
Right.
That's a healing
Yeah.
tank.
Yeah.
We learned a lot about bacta. We see the bacta tank first in Empire Strikes Back when Luke is in one. I mean, he's out there and he's brought in from the cold and he's in that tank and he pops out of that thing. He's all, okay, good as new. I mean, we
Yeah.
need this. We need to work on this technology.
Yeah.
Get the scientists working on the tube technology. Chop, chop. Chop, chop. Let's go. I mean, how do we get that?
Sorry.
So we see, so he wants to be in pain because pain leads to anger and anger leads to the dark side.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he doesn't want to be. So this is a conflicted character. He gives you just a little bit of like, you really kind of have to think about it and go, what's he doing in a bacta tank? Isn't he supposed to be torturing himself with the pain? That's why he put his castle here.
Yeah. No, that's
so.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
That's I think that's why he shows you that in so that you know that he's not all bad.
Right.
Because we know he does end up being redeemed.
Well,
in Return of the Jedi.
I think you bring up an interesting point because this is something I really wanted to discuss is the kind of how the Force is presented in this movie. I mean, there is Force talk in this movie.
There is.
And for me, I kind of likened it to, especially, what was his name? Chirrut? Yeah.
Chirrut, yeah.
His kind of spiritual devotion to the Force, right? He isn't a master. He isn't somebody that kind of have mastered the Force and uses it. I mean, there's moments where he does that, but you see it at the end, toward the end, where he makes that sacrifice for himself.
Yeah.
As opposed to like the original trilogy where they had actual Jedi power, where people are actually harnessing the power of the dark side and the light, whatever they could say. And so what did you think about that? How it was presented? Did you have any thoughts about how that is?
A great question.
Yeah.
It was not something that I had considered growing up, that the people who have the ability to use the Force are Jedi. They're either Jedi or they're Sith. There are Force wielders. Anybody can be a Force wielder. And I never really explored that. I'm like, it's either all or nothing.
Right.
No, there are Force sensitive. I mean, people would say that Cassian is Force sensitive. Jyn is certainly Force sensitive. She wears the kyber crystal around her neck.
Right.
Her parents stressed this to her, that they couldn't have her train as a Jedi because there were no Jedi.
Right.
They had been purged in Order 66 by Darth Vader almost 20 years earlier. When we meet these people, they've been in the rebellion. Their family. What I'd like to see, well, no, let's talk about the Force.
Okay.
Chirrut Imwe is blind, but he can see better than anybody because he is one with the Force and the Force is with him.
Yeah.
And the way he's greeting everybody as kind of a panhandler in Jeddah when we first meet him is what he's saying is, where's the Force? 1 second.
Oh, how he sees
Chirrut is saying, "May the Force of others be with you."
Yeah.
That's what he's saying. It's hard to hear him in the background, but when Cassian and Jyn and K2SO, we need to talk about K2SO too, by the way.
We'll get to
it. It was incredible. You hear him saying, "May the Force of others be with you," and we hadn't heard that. It's usually "May the Force be with you,"
right? And that's what I was saying about. Don't mean to interrupt. I'll get right back. But that's what I was saying is that in this movie, it's framed more of a spiritual devotion, so much as Christianity or something. Because when we first meet him, they're in Jeddah, and Jeddah is set up to look like more of like Tunisia, Middle Eastern country. And so you get or at least I did, I got the sense of, okay, they're presenting the Force as something that's kind of more of a like a religion, and people are
Hmm.
devoted to it, and it's kind of, whereas I think in the original trilogy it was more of the mastery, what it can do, how you can control it, and there's a lot of like space magic, which I
Yes.
call it sometimes. And so it's really interesting for me because you do have Darth Vader and his, obviously the mastery of the dark side. But like you said, it happens in this kind of condensed way, and this really, at the end in this hallway. But I thought it was just very interesting the way they portrayed, he's blind and he has kind of the not the mastery of it, but it's just I don't know, it just came across as more of like a religion, and I thought that was just an interesting choice. And go ahead,
I
I didn't mean to.
no, he, well, it's maybe even too much so, because it kind of looks like a cult a little bit. Where you have the Guardians of the Wills, which was
Yeah.
part of his original, George's original screenplay. They talked about the Wills, Whills, and you see them on when we first meet Cassian on the Kobani asteroid that
Oh
is
yeah.
like a mining asteroid. It's Kobani, I want to say. Maybe it doesn't matter. You see some of the Guardians of the Wills there as well. They're in different colors, but the robes look the same. It's a lot of culty stuff going on, which is a brave thing to do considering that the Sith have purged the Jedi from the galaxy.
Right.
Now you're saying you're using the Force. Why did they let them continue their religion? Isn't this a threat to the Empire? Or
Right.
the Empire knows I can't just go around killing everybody, because then all the systems will turn against us. We have as soon as we can finish that last thing we need to do, and that's building a big gun and flying around the galaxy. Just once we
Mhm.
have this thing up and going, we only need two people at that point, and maybe
Right.
not even then.
Yeah.
Everybody's expendable to the
Right.
to the to
Yeah.
the dark side of the Force. It's all about power.
Yeah.
But for the everyday walking around Jeddah Force user, like most people, this is a very spirit. This is the holy city of Jeddah. This is
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
the Jedi would come and get their crystal that powers their lightsaber. That's what makes. We hadn't really heard about that so much. We didn't know where these crystals were coming from, and now it's impossible to get another crystal
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the Empire took care of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But with the Force, it's Lyra. Jin's mom tells her to trust in the Force. It's the
Yeah.
last thing she says to her, and she is
Well, even
she.
let me
Go ahead.
interrupt here for a second.
Yes.
Even in the kind of greetings and the kind of, and what, like in, I don't know, Catholicism or Christianity, I don't know which one this is, but it's always you, and I'm not really religious, so I don't really remember. But it's like when they say "and with you" or something, you say,
Yeah. Peace be with you, and
yeah, there
also
you
with
go.
you. Yeah.
So you
That's
kind
the
of get
call and
this kind of,
response.
yeah, you
Yes.
kind of get that from this, is that, and that's why I always felt like it was more of a spiritual kind of interpretation of what the force is in this movie, because there's a lot of, like I said, this movie is about the ground forces. It's not about the Luke Skywalkers or the Darth Vaders. It's just about how the people, everyday people. And yeah, so I didn't want to cut you off. Go ahead, continue.
They are they are the Force is with them.
Yeah.
I mean, this is guerrilla warfare. We got to
Yes.
sneak into this place, and then we got to go sneak into this place, and then we get a storming the beach at Normandy
Yeah.
scene. So we get a lot of these pulls towards things for us where we understand that we've all seen Saving Private Ryan, so
Yeah.
we know what it's going to be like. This is probably going to be a bloodbath. You're going
Yeah.
in there with what, 15 guys? They've got these all the machinery. They can close the shield and just trap you. This is a suicide mission,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they all are. They're just down because
Well,
they
yeah.
know, and the Force is with them and tells them. You can just see that with no hesitation.
Yeah.
Now we haven't seen heroicism like this since probably World War II, where the storming the beach of Normandy, that opening scene in in Saving
Saving
Private
Private
Ryan, where
Ryan,
once
yeah.
that gate goes down,
Let's
this
go.
might be it.
Yeah.
Everything that you've ever done in your whole life came up to this moment right here.
Well, again, it's raising the stakes of what the prices that these people are going to pay in order to take down the empire, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just high stakes throughout the movie, and it gives you that kind of uneasy feeling of like, are these people going to survive this? And I think toward the end, it's like this, you know, you start to see them drop like flies, and you're realizing,
Hmm.
oh, this is a one-way mission. This wasn't, and they're willing to pay that price, which brings up a good point, which I really wanted to talk about before we get nerd
Yes.
out and get into the movie, is that the way that this is shot, there's a lot of natural lighting and the shadows and all of that. It really kind of gets you, it has that kind of puts you in the action kind of cinematography. You know, a lot of handheld, a lot, especially during the battle at the end. Did you notice that, or what are your
Yes.
thoughts on kind of how this was filmed? Low angle shots, you know, planetary variety. They're flying all over the place. What is it about the cinematography or the way it was shot that kind of jumped out at you?
Well, what jumped out at me was George Lucas always talked about how he wanted to have different environments
Yeah,
when he shot the original series. So you had these, this is a planet that only has ice. This is a planet that only has, and you get that. You get some of that where you have the desert planet, you have the water planet, you
yeah,
have the
fire
and
planet.
you
Yeah,
get you have a fire planet. What are we doing here? Yeah, you get those different environments, and he covers maybe all of them,
yeah,
like in a quick 2 hours and 13 minutes, where you get the beach scene, you get these shots of them looking up at the AT-AT, and you're just like, what on earth? The
yeah,
mechanical camel is here. What? And as a, as a, it goes for me, Rogue One probably my favorite, and then Empire Strikes Back. So these
yeah,
two, they're very closely tied, these two. And he shot this, and where you had people dressed in this Yavin 4, you the temples and the jungle planet, and the way he shot it is you feel like you're there. That might
yeah.
sound corny, but
No,
um
I think that was the intention, and you brought up something that I didn't even realize when I said, "Oh, a fire planet," because you have rain, you have kind of like an Earth-like planet. You have, let's see, there. So you have rain when they go to Edu to kind of try and rescue a Galen, and then you
yep.
have Mustafar, which is the fire. You have kind of like an Earth-like planet. In what was the Lao Mu? Is that the first planet they go to? I can't remember what planet the first planet was, but you know, so you get the four elements in this movie.
Yeah,
That was interesting. Oh wow, I didn't even realize that until you were just talking about that.
you do get the earth, wind, fire,
Yeah,
water, and in the Empire you see in Cloud City, that's you
yeah.
call that the wind.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You're getting all the elements
Yeah,
for sure, and he covers that, and not in a way that it feels like it's forced on you.
yeah,
Pardon
yeah,
the pun. He does the right amount of callbacks to please the Star Wars nerd in me.
yeah,
And at the same time, I'll just say this: if you haven't watched any of the Star Wars movies or programs or animated series, this might be your gateway drug.
yeah,
I would say, watch this movie and then decide if any of these characters are interesting to you. And then you might be surprised. This might be the thing that gets you into this.
yeah,
Welcome to the club kind of thing. This is the stepping stone where you just get to see the everyday ordinary people. They're not space wizards.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's, you know, it's interesting how Andor, the series, had an effect on this movie. But you can also argue too that this movie had an effect on the way you see episode 4, right? So the original episode. So or the original trilogy, because
Yes.
I think, you know, as a kid, you go to see this movie. I saw this when I was a kid,
Hmm.
and it kind of impacts you in a certain way. And you're like, this is the greatest movie, or whatever your opinion is of this movie. Cut to 2016, and this movie comes out, you know, immediately when it comes to kind of home streaming. um, what I did and what probably everybody else did was you watch this movie and then you have the original Star Wars queued up to go right
Mhm.
after, and it kind of adds weight, right? It kind of adds this extra weight of, I think in Return of the Jedi, Mon Mothma even says, it's not referring to this, but she also says, many Bothans died to bring us this information, kind of cluing you into the workings of this rebellion. And what you're seeing in the original trilogy, again, like what I was saying earlier, is you're seeing the kind of the top level, right? The kind of planning. We're going to attack here. We have this information. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Luke Skywalker, you have Han Solo, you have Chewbacca, Lando Calrissian. You have all these people acting on the information provided by these people. And it's great to see that this movie kind of shines a light on, again, the kind of groundwork that's laid in order for those movies to exist. And I don't
Right.
know, it's a great
Yeah. No,
callback. Yeah.
it's a great point. It shows as the Rebel Alliance is an impressive spy network
Yeah.
because you've got senators in here. There's two. Bail Organa is senator. Mon Mothma is a senator. They both make an appearance in that opening scene when, or not opening scene, but when Jin is rescued from she's we see her after. Excuse me. When we see her as an adult, the flash forward however many years that is, 10, 11, 12, maybe it's hard to not really clearly define, but when she is rescued by Cassian, they list off all these. I mean, they bring her in front of the generals of the Rebel Alliance, and they list them off. They're assault possession of unsanctioned weapons,
Yeah. Yeah.
forging
Yeah.
imperial documents. I
Yeah.
mean, she's been causing a lot of problems, but she's doing it on kind of a smaller scale, and she's
Right.
calling herself by a different name. But they know exactly who she is.
Right. How
Once they
Go ahead.
realize Galen Erso is still alive and wasn't killed all those years ago, and
Right.
he's still an imperial science officer, they need to go. They know that Jin Urso was with Saw Gerrera and his ragtag group of rebels. He's kind of the rebel amongst the rebels.
Well, he's the
I didn't
rebel of
know
the rebels.
he is the rebel of the rebels. That's right. He's
Yeah.
like a yeah, triple officer or a
Yeah. He's
triple
he's
spy.
he's a very he's out there, man. That's a
So I
great.
hadn't watched the animated series and or know the backstory of who Saw Gerrera was before I watched Rogue One in 2016. I think that animated series where we see a young Saw Gerrera
No.
was the
Yeah, I
Clone
haven't seen
Wars.
those either. Yeah, I haven't
I
seen them
didn't.
either.
So for me, again, speaking of a gateway, I did go back and watch them because I realized I'm going to have to go back and watch those animated series
Yeah,
because that's all
yeah,
canon now.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And it's more for kids, and I was kind of half paying attention to a lot of it, but a lot of this stuff is important. The
yeah,
backstory that Dave Filoni tells in
yeah,
his
yeah,
backstory of what happened during between episode 2 and episode 3. You get an animated series that shows how what all the fighting that Obi-Wan and Anakin did when they were both Jedi, and how Anakin's fall from grace
yeah,
starts, and what happened to Darth Maul after episode 1, because he
yeah,
pops up
yeah.
in Solo,
Solo,
the
yeah,
Solo, a Star Wars story, because we get another standalone after this. And boy, you know, I don't want to bag on that movie too much. I think I've only seen it one or two times. It's not great. It's fun to see that this was the dumbed down one. Solo was kind of the dumbed down one where I was like,
yeah,
okay, we get
yeah,
to see Chewie and we get to see how they meet and how he gets the Millennium Falcon from Lando. And I was like,
yeah.
all
I mean,
right,
it's a mixed bag. There's a lot of people that love that movie and say it's
really?
underrated. Yeah, I mean, I've seen some video essays on YouTube where some people say
Okay,
why this is so criminally underrated. This is a great movie. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm
maybe
more
I'll
with
watch one of
you.
those.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more with you. I kind of liked it a little bit. I liked parts of it, but to me, it was really kind of more of just kind of fan service as opposed to making it a real,
That's what I'm saying.
yeah, real kind of like backstory for Han Solo. It was just kind of like,
Right.
let's just hit these points and we're out.
Yeah.
But getting back to Rogue One,
Yes.
do you
Sure.
feel Lutheran, Luthen's kind of, I feel Luthen's kind of presence in this
Yeah.
Rogue One. Again, going back to Andor and then watching Rogue One, it
Yes.
just changes your perspective. Do you feel Luthen's like fingerprints all over this?
Absolutely.
Yeah, me too.
He's molded Cassian to the man that we see in Rogue One.
Yeah.
And I don't know who had the idea. Maybe it was a throwaway line in the movie, but Spirit says something to Cassian that, in hindsight, and I should have written it down what he says to him. It didn't have to be in the movie. They're in Saw's, they're imprisoned by Saw now. They're at Saw Gerrera's hideout, and they put everybody in one cell, and then the defected pilot that's played by Riz Ahmed, his character's in the next cell over, and Cassian says something like he's going to try to break them out of this, and Chirrut feels the force in him, and he says something to him that is just like, there's something more there. Maybe you've never really.
Oh yeah.
And he turns and looks at him just for a second. I'm like, was that the spark that made them go, we're now going to do a whole series and we're going to name it after this guy, the guy who murdered somebody in his first 2 minutes on screen? We're going to make a whole show about him that's like the 5 years that build up to this.
Right.
And boy, you meet Luthen, who is these are highly intelligent people, the spy network.
Yeah.
How intelligent and how careful and patient that you have to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long game. You have to play the long game.
Oh, man.
You have to play like chess, you know?
Yes. You can't. And you have to know, like, when he knew that his time was up, Luthen knew his time was up, no hesitation.
Yeah. Because
they can't take me captive. I can't be taken alive.
Yeah. He knew it was coming to this point, and which I think is a great kind of point to kind of show as a rebellion that at some point, you know, you like he says in Andor, he's fighting for a sunrise he knows he'll never see, right?
Yeah.
So at some point, these people know that this is I may not make it out of here alive, and that's okay. And I think that that's kind of the impetus of kind of the whole thing of a rebellion, right? Is that you're fighting for something because you know it's right, and whether or not I survive, that this ideal is going to fight on. And I'm just happy to be part of, or not happy, but I just want to be a part of this, not for any fame or glory, but because this is just the right thing to do. I think that's the great general message that these things, both of these, the series and this movie have. And I mean, I don't know. It's one of my favorites. I can't say it's my favorite Star Wars movie, but it's one of my favorites. I think so.
It's the selflessness that it takes to, this is something that's bigger than us.
Yeah.
Like that phrase, like there's another phrase that goes along with that, planting the trees under the shade of which you will never sit. And, just, it's a martyr story. It's got so much of that, and no one's going to know your name. No one will remember. You never hear these characters' names brought up again.
Yeah.
They're not like these heroes. The only time that we get an homage to them, to Rogue One, which is in Empire Strikes Back, when and I forget he's one of the fighters who's flying the X-wing after Luke and Han spend the night out in the dead Tauntaun.
Oh yeah.
In the morning, the
Echo Base.
The Echo
I found
Base,
them.
This
Repeat,
is Rogue 2.
I found them. Yeah.
And he refers to himself as Rogue 2, and that's an homage to this group. It was an homage to them 40 years
that's
previous.
awesome. I didn't make that connection. Yeah, that's great.
So it has to be where right, because we were like Rogue 2. There was no Rogue. Who's Rogue One?
Right.
You know, they don't hear anybody else, and that's the guy who saves Han and Luke in Empire 1980. So
that's great. Well, do you want to get on the key scenes, or do you want to keep going? Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So what do you have any key scenes, your favorite scenes of the film? I got a couple that I have here of my favorites.
Go ahead, you tell me one of yours.
Well, actually, Cassian's introduction. So we kind of hammered on this a little briefly,
Yeah.
but this whole idea that this guy again is kind of killing his informant. We see in Andor that he's instructed to go meet this guy to get some information about old man brain again.
Yep.
Just get some information. And so he goes and he immediately kills his informant. So this is kind of this was the first scene for me in the movie that kind of sets the pace and kind of gives you the idea of like, okay, the stakes are high and no one is safe. I don't know why I got that feeling, but I just felt like I didn't think he was going to die, but I thought that, okay, no one's safe and Cassian's probably going to get in some trouble from this. And that to me, again, sets the tone. And it's one of my favorite scenes because you don't really get to see that one of your primary protagonists sets himself up to be kind of this schemer, this kind of evil guy. Well, not evil, but there's kind of darkness in this guy that he'll do what needs to be done.
Yes.
And so it kind of sets off the movie that way. So that was my first one. How about you? Do you have one?
Okay. I think that the scenes between Krennic and Tarkin, we have maybe for the first time, we see Tarkin, who was played by Alan Cushing. No, but Peter Cushing. Peter Cushing. And we see a CGI'd AI version, right? He's CGI. And he sounds like him. And for 2016, looks a lot like him. You're like, I think those scenes where they're on the bridge of a Star Destroyer and they're looking out at the Death Star that we see for the first time with the gun going in, the laser going. It's about to go online. This thing's ready to rock.
And I have an Easter egg. The Death Star was originally going to be called the Egg of Death, but it got voted down. So that
it reminds me of Eddie Izzard. He's all, it's the Death Star. What does it do? It does death. It does death, buddy. Now get out of my way.
Go on, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, yeah. So there, you see the push and pull of these two officers. They're both very, very high ranking.
Yeah.
Krennic is in his dress whites, and he's just come, and he's the one who actually built the base. But Tarkin, who's called a general, I think at that point, or governor,
General Moff.
But they never say Grand Moff Tarkin, and we find out that was his action figure was called Grand Moff Tarkin, and I think in his baseball card, because you used to get all that stuff from Kenner as kids, and I don't think they ever refer to him as Grand Moff Tarkin at any time, which is kind of strange. But I believe he becomes the Moff once the Death Star goes online, because he's referred to as Governor Tarkin. You see these two guys are fighting for position because they want to be the Emperor's, they want to please the Emperor so badly.
Yeah.
And I think that dynamic between the two of them, where he shows up to watch the opening shot, we're going to blow up the holy city of Jeddah. We never have seen what it's like to be on a planet when it's being shot at by the Death Star. So that point of view and those graphics and the wave of Earth that's coming at our heroes as they have to flee this. I mean, it's like a tsunami of destruction coming at them. I thought was really, really well done. You believe, you're like kind of holding your breath. You're like, how are they getting out of this? Like, this is nuts. Is this what it would look like if you were shot at? Like what?
Yeah.
We don't know. All we've seen before was the thing just blows out.
Right.
This was, we get to see. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, well, it was just kind of like, it wasn't at full strength. It just it got me how the steps in which, this thing becomes full strength.
Yeah.
And that's what really hit me about those scenes, was watching it kind of like slowly come at you. One of my favorite scenes, another key scene of mine, was when after Edu, when they go down to, Cassian has his orders to kill Galen, and he doesn't. And he rescues Jin, because after it blows up and everything, Krennic leaves. The argument that they have in the ship after they're leaving,
Yeah.
in the movie, when I saw the movie, it was, oh, I was kind of with Jin in that, what do I have in my notes here? Let's see. Sorry. The rebellion is oh yeah, Jin's point of view. The rebellion isn't worth following if it abandons its principles, right? So that's the line in the sand that she draws. Is like this thing of, look, we have to do this right, or else nothing that we do is gonna stand. It's not going to stand on really strong legs. But after the movie Andor, you see I see Cassian's point of view, which is that the principles don't mean anything if you lose the war. Survival has to be first, and it kind of clues you into all the nastiness and all the deceit that goes on, even in a rebellion, for the cause of good. And I thought that scene was so instrumental on first viewing to kind of show you where they stand morally on each side of the fence there. After Cassian, I watched that. I was watching this last night and was watching how now that dynamic has changed, and now it's Jin has no idea the lengths that Cassian has gone to further this rebellion. And sometimes you have to do stuff that's morally questionable, because what you're doing is you're protecting yourself, but at the same time you're kind of furthering this cause to kind of end the empire. So there's that moral kind of ambiguity, what Cassian has to go through, and even Luthen and all of these other people that are involved in the background. So for me, that was the key moment, and it shows you the influence of watching the series Andor and then watching this movie. Whereas before, it was a standalone. Rogue One was a standalone movie, which was great. It was awesome. I loved it. But now it just gives so much more depth. And after watching the TV series, did you get that feeling as well?
I did, because we didn't need it. We didn't need the series.
Yeah,
but
right.
And I'm like, I mean, the stakes are so high with trying to, again, now you have even more source material that you have to stay true to, but also tell an interesting story earlier on, and you can't change it. You can't go back and change the canon, because the Star Wars fans will rip you limb from limb, right?
Yeah.
You better work.
Yeah.
And again, Tony Gilroy,
I mean, knocks it out of the park.
My God, the idea and the last minute idea to, and I don't know how last minute it was, but it was supposed to be six seasons. Or 5 seasons.
5 seasons.
And instead what they did was, on every Tuesday, they dropped 3 hours of new material. And you can't watch that. That gives you the whole week to watch we get 3-hour-long episodes and it was so quickly done, and it was over in a month. And you're like, every week was another year closer to, as we get closer to the actual Star Wars, or closer to Rogue One in this case. And to bring it right up to the cusp, like how Rogue One brings us right up to the beginning opening shot of Star Wars: A New Hope, you're like, you believe it. And with Andor, to watch, we see Jin's character over the 2 hours and 15 minutes. We see Jin go from, she cares about her family. She's watched her mother get killed. She has no love for the Empire, but she's not in a rebellion.
Right.
She's not in, and she kind of is, you're all rebels, aren't you? Like, she kind of doesn't think very highly of she probably thinks they're just wasting their time, where she's just going to scrounge around and call her name Leanna Hellick at this time. And she's going to go over here, and they're like, once she introduces the group to Saw, she's like, "That's all I want." He's like, "What's in it for you?" Saw says, who's played by Forrest Whitaker, who incredible.
Yeah.
I keep using the word incredible, but my God, I love Forrest Whitaker so much. Everything he does is so good. He was in Color of Money that we did last season, and just, I mean, that one scene that he's in, you're just like, how good is this guy? I
Yeah.
mean, you believe everything. He's all messed up, and we know why he's messed up thanks to Andor, and it makes a lot of sense. We're
Yeah.
like, I thought this. What was this breathing thing? He's huffing gas. It's like this poor guy is like. No wonder they're kind of like trying to separate themselves from Saw. And I don't know if the reason why he's got all these mechanical parts and is because he's got to amputate his legs because of poor circulation thanks to them huffing the gas. I mean, this is he's getting high. He sees the spirits when
Yeah.
he takes that little breathing mask, and everyone's just all he just walks around with his drugs all day, dude. Yeah, that's all he really cares about at that
Yeah.
point. So
Yeah.
he's more machine now than man, if you will. But so to see that contrast of how Jin went from Cassian tells her rebellions are built on hope, and you see kind of the light go on in her head.
Yeah.
Sheelin later tells the group, all the rebels, the same thing. And Mon Mothma and Bail Organa, they all look at each other because they'd heard that before.
Yeah. Yeah.
They had heard rebellions are built on. Look at how fast this is spreading.
Yeah.
Like we've convinced her. We had to watch in Andor him get convinced because he was kind of had one foot out the door the whole time in the rebellion too,
Yeah.
and that's not going to work.
Yeah.
You got to be all the way in or all the way out.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if you're all the way in, then
Yeah.
that means you might have to shoot a guy in the back to get the hell out of there.
Yeah.
You may have to shoot yourself to get out because if they capture you, it's a fate worse than death. We've
Yeah.
seen what they do and torture
Yeah.
people, and you don't want to get captured. You want to save that last bullet for yourself.
Well, it's like, yeah, I mean, Bix from the series is
Yeah.
just a reminder of that, of what
Yes.
they do to you. How about your Game 6
Poor Bix,
Clay Thompson
God.
War? Do you have one?
Well, I mean, we got to talk about K2SO.
Oh, that was mine. Okay.
Alan Tudyk's, yeah. Well, I mean, that's an easy choice. We get a callback where we have a kind of a protocol droid, if you will. This is a some kind of military droid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's super strong, but kind of easy to kill. I mean, they look like they're not these old death troopers or whatever what's his name had in the Mandalorian. Moff Gideon he had those black
Yeah.
we don't even need people in these suits anymore. They're just all droids. So they're
Yeah,
going
yeah,
back
yeah.
to droids. Droids are really interesting. K2 and Alan Tudyk playing K2SO is hysterical. And
He's great.
you have the because there's really laugh out loud funny parts. I mean, break the tension with comedy in this. I found myself, I've watched this movie, like I said, every time we go camping, Christine and I will put this on at the end of the night, just put it on the iPad and fall asleep to Rogue One. I know it's kind of dorky, but it's my life. I'm just gonna but you get the comedy where you don't C3PO and R2D2 were comedy, and you get this with K2. You are sad when K2 dies.
Yeah.
Like it's freaking heartbreaking, man.
It's
He
kind of
sacrifices
shocking.
himself.
Yeah.
It is shocking. You kind of know at this point, I don't think anybody's going to live at the end of this movie.
Right.
I mean, it's not.
It's cemented it cemented that feeling for me after he dies. And I'm like, oh, okay.
You're all, oh, dude, they're all, yeah. They're all. No wonder. How come all these people aren't in the next Star Wars movie?
Yeah.
Right. How come I've never heard of any of these people?
And that's a great point, because I think you watch the original, or you're watching the original, and you don't hear anything about these characters.
You know, Krennic never comes up.
Yeah.
You're like, Krennic, this guy built the damn thing, and his name never comes up, because once they're done with you, they're done with you.
Yeah.
They're just going ahead and blowing up. The end of the movie is they're going to steal documents.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just call it what it is. There's barbarians at the gate. They're coming to steal documents. As somebody who reads a lot of corporate documents and has to ask the corporations in Discovery to send us your documents and then pour over them, I'm freaking all about this, dude. Like, they got to come in. And I'm like, well, now hang on. If they steal the documents, then it's not discoverable. Bro, we're not worried about any of that. We're trying to stop a space station that looks like a small moon from flying around the galaxy, blowing up every planet it doesn't like.
Yeah. Well,
the stakes are way too high to worry about what's right and what's wrong. We got to stop it by any means necessary.
Yeah. And that's a good point. Yeah, because I think that, watching the originals, you don't get a sense of any kind of. You just see the Death Star, right? You just see it. It's done. This is what it does. Well, this one kind of reverse engineers it and kind of goes back. This is how it was made. This is what it took, the manpower, all this kind of stuff. And you see it in Andor. You see the kind of mysterious way that they kind of built this thing, and no one knew about it, right? So
Nobody knew.
there was
Yeah.
very few inklings, and that it just made sense.
They kept this thing a secret for like 20 years.
Yeah.
How is that? Well, they kept the clones a secret for until they got their million stormtroopers, and the people that are inside the stormtrooper, these are not clones anymore.
Yeah.
The clones have kind of come and gone.
Yeah.
Now they're actual people that these are people that have jobs. And like I said, I had many friends on that Death Star. I mean, these were, I don't know if they have families. It was never really explored. We don't need to know.
Is there any sort of unemployment benefits for these guys?
Right.
Or,
what happens if I'm
hazard pay?
These guys are just all, I mean, it's either this or they kill us.
Yeah.
I mean, that's your authoritarian, your army is guys that are just gonna, the doors are gonna go open, they're gonna run out shooting from the hip.
Yeah.
And the rebels are just gonna blow you away. I mean, the rebels are much more highly skilled.
Yeah.
But they're everywhere. The stormtroopers are everywhere. They're on every system you go to. There's stormtroopers there.
Right.
They're just
no trigger discipline, just shooting.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Pew pew pew. That's right.
Before we end, yes. I wanted to kind of talk about Vader's Vader.
No, we can talk about Vader.
Vader's hallway rampage. That was one of the highlights of this movie, right? Like, just
We've never seen this.
Yeah, and then I didn't. It kind of highlights where Vader is in his kind of journey to the dark side. Well, he's on the dark side, but his journey of the hatred and the anger that fuels him, right?
Yeah,
he'll go to any means to stop this. That was brutal. What was your first thoughts when you saw that? When you saw the saber engage and like?
Well, it paid
I mean, the
off
crowds at the theater where I was watching it just went crazy.
Yes, yeah, there was a lot of people gasping. What
happened?
Are you? No. Okay, now you're back.
Okay.
Yeah, we saw Vader earlier when he's, you weren't summoned here to grovel, Director Krennic. He's a little cheesy when he chokes him and he says, be sure not to choke on your aspirations. I was like, could have done without that line, but okay, I'm sure it's in there for a reason.
Yeah.
And, we get that, Vader's gonna, leave you with a little, huh?
Little elbow, huh? How'd you like that one, huh?
Oh, how about that?
All right. Well,
he's insulting.
Yeah.
But as we see the plans have been successfully transmitted have been beamed aboard the ship. This is how it's explained to us in A New Hope. Many transmissions were beamed aboard the ship.
Yes.
So you had to beam him aboard the ship, and then he takes the disc, and the guy's running away. Go! And they get on the Tantive 4, which is maybe one of the ugliest ships of all time, but still this is a counselor ship.
Yeah.
And Leia's on it, and he wrecks shop we haven't seen him take out. He never fought anybody that wasn't another Jedi up to this point.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, call the Tusken Raiders the Sand People that captured his mom in episode 2. I guess I hate sand. I guess you see him mowing down just common folk. He's not, but he's throwing people around the room and he's disarming everybody by just like grabbing their guns out of the air and throwing them. And these people have no chance. And that scene is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
Where you're like, dude, this guy, I guess you don't want to piss him off. I mean, that comes through pretty.
It was brutal. It was brutal.
Yeah,
I mean, it shows
brutal.
You the brutality of Vader, which I always felt like I want to see him hunt down Jedi. That should be a series of him, but I don't know if that would fly. Anyways, my Clay Thompson, since you took my original one, was Saul Guerrero. That's right. Every time this dude's on the screen, he is just, I mean, not so much in this. I mean, I think I'm talking more of Andor, but I mean, I feel like seeing these two now, I think his character is always so what's the word, like just unpredictable. He's so this gas that he's huffing has made him just so crazy and paranoid, and
Yes.
it kind of represents this galaxy's addiction thing, I guess, but or theme. And so anytime he's on the screen, it's just a joy. He chews up the dialogue, and I don't know, that's my Clay Thompson.
The way his voice changes from when we first see him on the screen in the opening shot, where
Yeah,
he's got the shaved head and he talks with a clear voice, to smash cut to we see him 15 years later. Oh, he sounds like this. And you're like, that's from all
have
those
you
years of
come
huffing
to
that
kill
gas.
me? Yeah.
He doesn't blink at all in any scene. Just watch him. He's glassy eyed, and he's staring, he's looking through you.
Yeah,
And it's, and I had to go back and go. So his character from the Clone Wars, the animated series, he's a young 20-year-old. He's got all his arms and legs. And then you see him at the end of the war, the end of his war, he's missing most of his body
yeah,
parts,
yeah,
and he's half crazy on gas, but he's got this group that's taken out the shipments of kyber crystal out of Jeddah.
right.
They're the last stand, man. They're like, we're going to take these. Andor kind of explored that too, where when Cassian said this town's about to blow, he
Yeah,
knows because
yeah,
he had just seen it happen.
yeah, yeah,
And watching Andor explains why he can look around this town and know this, they're going to attack the shipment,
yeah,
because that's what had happened
yeah,
a couple weeks ago in his world. It had just
yeah,
happened.
yeah.
Nuts. A great call on Saw Gerrera, Forrest Whitaker. Do you have any famous favorite quotes that you like from this? Because the first movies are always so quotable. Are there any quotes
Yeah.
that you like from this one?
The one that's kind of, let's see on my notes here. I have a couple, or I mean, just the obvious one I think is one of my favorites is rebellions are built on hope. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
really a cool kind of, call to action, so to speak. Not really, but I mean, in that vein of kind of like, let's go.
Right.
It's kind of I would say like it just kind of confirms that we're on the same page, right? So when that's being said in any kind of scene, it's always to let the other person know that I got you, I'm with you,
Right.
So I think for me that would probably be it. I don't know. What do you got? What some of your favorites?
The exchange between, and it's not super quotable, but it is, it's chilling,
Yeah,
is the exchange between Galen and Krennic when Krennic first arrives to come collect the Erso family and take
yeah,
them back so that they can, the work is stalled. Krennic tells Galen, we were this close to greatness, to
yeah,
providing peace and security to the galaxy. And
yeah.
Galen says, you're confusing peace with terror. And Krennic says, well,
You
you have to start somewhere.
yeah,
You're just
yeah.
all, oh, ooh,
Well, dude, that's interesting. You highlight that because when I was watching that last night, I was reminded on kind of, and not to get too political here, but kind of the current
right.
climate and like kind of asking these these people love being evil, and
Yes.
that's the thing that drives these people. It isn't a different, well, it is a different ideology, but at the same time, it's different in the sense of I want to see this thing, the society, this thing. I want to see order. I wanted to see it break down, and I want to be in charge of that. That's such an eerie thing
Yeah.
to kind of, I don't know, to kind of embrace. It's just a
Yeah.
darkness, and I don't understand it. And to that line, and also the line where they do, I think it's where in Jeddah, I think when they destroy it, and he says, "Oh, that's beautiful."
Right.
It's such a chilling kind of character. Krennic is that, man.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't just to be, what's the word, different. I don't know, contrarian. It's just there's an evil behind that, and it's unexplainable to me. And so that, yeah, that's a great line. Those are great lines. Yeah,
The cruelty is the point.
yeah, right.
And there's a lot of power behind that. And you have to, if you're going to do this and take over the galaxy,
Yeah.
write this down, everybody. If you're going to take over the galaxy, you have to have people that want to inflict pain on people as much as you do.
Yeah.
And when you think about, well, here's what we have to do in order, look, we freaking hate empathy, we hate peace, we hate harmony, we hate that everybody has a voice, we hate all of those things. There should be one voice, and it should be mine, and I will just destroy anything that gets in the way so that I can finally have my little ball that floats through the space and in my little tower, and I can just, that only then will I be satisfied. Nothing will ever satisfy people
Yeah.
that have a mindset of this, where
Yeah.
the cruelty is the point, and once I get this, then I'm done. There is no being done. This
Yeah.
is you're in a hole. This is sociopathy. You don't, none of it matters. I mean, you'll be the only one left in the galaxy, and then it's still at that point you'd be like, okay, well,
Yeah.
I did it. I conquered everybody. I mean, everything is a war to you, and
Yeah.
when everything's a
Conflict.
nail, then
Yeah.
you're a hammer, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The line that Vader says to Krennic, which was also kind of, at the first time I heard it in the theater, I was like, what? He says, Krennic says something about the Death Star, and Vader says, there is no Death Star. Don't believe your lying eyes, because we haven't launched it yet. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, you blew up a city, but we're not there yet, guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which means there is no you. He's not even talking to a real person. Vader's just like, there is no Death Star. And it's like, so I don't matter. None of this matters. Once this thing, all that matters is getting this thing going.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
God, and the power behind that, and the way that Gareth shot when the first time the Death Star shoots, it eclipses the sun. It's
Yeah.
like the way it's so well done,
Light.
where you see
Yeah.
it eclipses the sun. It's its own character at this point, right? It's blocking out the sun, and then it fires on Jeddah. That shot did not go unnoticed by me. The way he did that, I'm like, that is so crazy how the thought that went into that, where,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, any final thoughts, closing thoughts on this movie? What did you
I'll
think?
say, for those people who haven't watched any of the Star Wars, start with this.
Yeah.
Start with this. It's an incredible cast. It's got the score that you want to hear. You want to hear a lot of French horns and big. Yeah, I would just say start with this movie, and if you're interested, keep going. Yeah, I love it.
Nice.
Can't get enough of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You?
Well, I feel like this is like you, it's an important piece of the puzzle. I think a lot of things about the prequels, where at the time I remember seeing the prequels and it didn't hit any
Right.
of the, except for maybe the third one, only because it had Darth Vader in it.
Mm-hmm.
But now they're being lauded as kind of this essential part of the trilogy, which it is. I mean, it's not the best. It's not executed in the best way. I think there's some shoddy writing, and I think Lucas kind of has trouble with writing and blocking sometimes. But I think he's wonderful in world building and all this. But I think this is Rogue One is kind of this integral part that if you watch it, you're gonna kind of get more out of the original trilogy, especially the original Star Wars. And it's just a great piece.
Yeah.
I think the one thing is, what did I write down here? It's built piece by piece by people, the people in this movie, the rebels, by people who may never see the end of the fight. And by the time Leia turns around and says, "Hope," we understand what the cost of those words are in a way the original trilogy kind of never did. So that was my kind of final thought on that. It's just a great piece. And like you, I, I don't know if I would see this if for a new Star Wars. I don't know if I would say watch this one first. I would say watch the original trilogy and then maybe watch this. But either way, you're going to get a great kind of story. So I just thought it was one of the best Star Wars movies. And
Yeah.
so yeah, that's my final thought. And so with that, I think we're going to end this discussion on Rogue One. Let us tell us what you thought about Rogue One. Tell us what you thought about the characters, how it relates to you after watching Andor. I would be interested in seeing that and letting us know. Toby, you got any like final words you want to say?
Yeah, we could do Andor for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you talked about that early on. You were also talking about because you're finishing up Silo now as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh?
Oh, that's a
Huh?
great show.
Oh
And
man,
I'm on, yeah, I got 4 more episodes and then I'm done.
nice.
It was unexpected. I didn't think it was as deep. I thought it was going to be, you said it was really good and I believed you, but I just had a hard time. I have a hard time getting to new stuff, because there's so many other stuff that I'm into.
Yeah.
Um, but as soon as I watched that first episode and it had Rashida Jones and the sheriff guy in it that I've seen everywhere, I was like, oh, this got a lot of good people in this.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm writing a streaming series right now, so it made me change the way I was going to write 10 episodes, and they're each going to be. It was going to be episodic, so each episode would be an adventure in and of itself.
Oh wow.
After watching Silo, I took that first episode and I expanded it because I wanted it to us. I love how it just those streaming series like Silo and Severance, how you sit with these characters throughout the season as opposed to a new episode, a new adventure each episode. So it was great. It influenced me the way I write now, and it's a great piece of entertainment. I recommend Silo if you're looking for something new to watch.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So like and subscribe if you like what you're seeing here. It helps out the channel a lot. It helps us out, and with that, I appreciate you guys listening, you guys watching, and we'll see you again hopefully next week.
It's
Right?
good to see you, pal.
All
Yes,
right.
sir.
Good to see you, man. All right. Take
All
care.
right. Okay, bye.